Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The first thing I want to say is that many American Jews and Jews around the world have spoken out against this war. J Street, which is a peace organization that lobbies in Washington, has collected a petition with more than 100,000 signatures, delivered it to Congress, President Bush and President-elect Obama. Tzedek for Shalom, which is another Jewish American peace organization, had thousands of activists write to President-elect Obama demanding that he speak out against the violence in Gaza. Jewish Voice for Peace is organizing a campaign to support Israeli high school students that refuse to serve in the occupation army and have been imprisoned in Israel as a result. So you may not see these voices in the news media, or may not see them very often, but they are speaking out, they are taking action, and we need to do everything we can to encourage more American Jews, more Jews around the world, and of course more Americans and everyone around the world, not just to oppose these crimes, but to speak out and take action. Many Americans don't realize that this war did not start in December. In particular, the blockade that Gaza has been subjected to is an act of war. It is a well-established principle for decades of international humanitarian law. A blockade is an act of war. The blockade on Gaza is a war crime, Hamas or no Hamas. The blockade on the Palestinian civilian population is a war crime. The United States, by supporting in this blockade, is participating in a war crime. Another thing that Americans don't know, and it's our task, our job to educate them, the ceasefire could have been renewed. Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, had an op-ed yesterday in the Washington Post, I encourage you all to read it, saying this war was totally preventable. The ceasefire could have been extended if Israel and the United States were willing to lift the blockade. That's what Hamas demanded, to extend the ceasefire. In fact, they didn't even demand lifting the blockade. They just demanded easing the blockade. That's what the Israel and the United States refused to agree to. That was the main demand that caused the ceasefire to break down, because Israel and the United States refused to lift the blockade. We demand an immediate ceasefire. That includes lifting the blockade. The blockade is an act of violence. Yes, the rockets should stop. Yes, the bombing of Gaza should stop. But the blockade of Gaza also must stop. End all the violence. End the blockade. Finally, I want to appeal to everyone here. If you can hear my voice, you could be doing more. Everyone you know could be doing more. Thank you all for coming out today. Thank you for everyone who came out to the event at the mosque last night. But we could always be doing more. We have a unique privilege being here in the United States to speak to the American people, to speak to American politicians, to get our voice out. We could all be writing letters to the News Gazette. We could all be writing letters to the Daily Illini. We could all be calling in to call-in shows to get our voice out. Don't let another week pass without taking action to carry this message out everywhere where you are. If you work in an office, talk to your office mates. Talk to your family members. Talk to your fellow students. Get people to speak out. Take action. Write. Educate the American people. It's up to the people standing here right now, hearing my voice, to educate Americans. Get them to take action. Call Tim Johnson's office. Write him a letter. Send him a postcard. Call Senator Durbin. Write him a letter. Send him a postcard. Stop the war now. Immediate ceasefire. End the blockade. Thank you.